I found out my wife cheated on me with her boss right before our anniversary, and the timing is what still messes with my head. My name is Nathan Cole. I'm 43, work in logistics, quiet by nature, not the kind of man who snoops or imagines betrayal where it doesn't exist. For 14 years, I believe my marriage to Evelyn was built on trust, routine, and shared responsibility. Not fireworks, not fairy tales, just consistency. I thought that was enough. Our anniversary was 5 days away when the first crack appeared. Evelyn started guarding her phone like it held state secrets. Screen always down. Notifications muted. If I walked into a room, she'd tilt it away, smile too quickly, then ask if I needed something. I told myself it was work stress. She was an executive assistant to a regional director named Marcus Hale. Long hours, tight deadlines, corporate pressure. I understood pressure. I live in it. 2 nights later, she said she had to attend a last-minute planning dinner with Marcus and a client. She dressed sharper than usual. New heels, hair done in a way I hadn't seen in years. She kissed my cheek, not my lips, and said she'd be late. I remember standing in the doorway watching her taillights disappear, feeling something I couldn't name yet. I didn't go looking for proof. It found me. The next morning, Evelyn left her tablet on the kitchen counter while rushing to work. It buzzed once. Then again. I glanced without thinking. A message preview lit up the screen. Marcus, last night was worth the risk. Same place Friday. My chest tightened, but my hands were steady. I unlocked the tablet. I read everything. There were months of messages, hotel receipts, photos I never wanted to see, jokes about me being predictable, dependable, safe. He called me her anchor. She called him her escape. I sat down at the table and read until there was nothing left to read. No yelling, no shaking, just clarity settling in like cold air. That night, Evelyn came home cheerful, asked what I wanted to do for our anniversary, suggested a weekend away. I looked at her and realized she had already left the marriage. She was just waiting for the paperwork to catch up. I nodded and said we'd talk later. She didn't notice anything was wrong. Or maybe she did and didn't care. I didn't confront her. Not yet. I needed to understand the full shape of what I was dealing with. Marcus Hale wasn't just her boss. He was married, 2 kids, public reputation, corporate ladder climber, and he was sloppy. The affair used company resources, travel budgets, shared calendars. He assumed privacy where there was none. I spent the next 3 days doing nothing dramatic. I went to work. I cooked dinner. I listened. And quietly, I documented everything. Screenshots, dates, locations, expense overlaps. I forwarded copies to a secure drive Evelyn didn't know existed. I spoke to a lawyer named Harriet Bloom, recommended by a colleague who'd survived a brutal divorce. She didn't ask me how I felt. She asked what I wanted. On the morning of our anniversary, I woke up before Evelyn, made coffee, packed an overnight bag. I left a card on the kitchen table addressed to her, with my handwriting neat and familiar. Inside, it said only this: I know about Marcus. Check your email. I hope it was worth it. At 9 a.m., while Evelyn was at work, Harriet sent a formal complaint to Marcus's company. Ethics violations, misuse of funds, evidence attached. At the same time, an anonymous package went to his wife, delivered by courier. No note, just facts. Then Harriet filed for divorce on my behalf, citing infidelity, with documentation that left no room for negotiation. Evelyn called me 27 times that day. I didn't answer. Marcus called once from a blocked number. I didn't answer that either. I drove out of town and checked into a small hotel by the coast. I ate dinner alone, slept deeply. For the first time in years, my mind was quiet. By the end of the week, Marcus was suspended pending investigation. Evelyn was placed on leave. Her version of events collapsed under timestamps and receipts. She came home to an empty house and a locked spare bedroom. Harriet advised minimal contact, so I complied. When Evelyn finally cornered me days later, she cried, said it was a mistake, said it didn't mean anything, said she never planned to leave me. I listened without interrupting. Then I told her something calmly. Planning doesn't matter when choices are repeated. Actions do. I asked her to speak through attorneys. She called me cold. I didn't argue. The divorce moved quickly. There was no dramatic courtroom showdown, just signatures and consequences. Marcus resigned quietly. His marriage imploded loudly. I heard none of it firsthand. I didn't need the details. Revenge wasn't shouting or humiliation. It was alignment. truth placed where lies once lived. People ask if I feel guilty. I don't. I didn't cheat. I didn't lie. I didn't destroy anything that wasn't already rotten. I simply stopped protecting a secret that wasn't mine to keep. The anniversary passed without celebration, but also without pretending. I learned something through all this. Betrayal doesn't always announce itself with chaos. Sometimes it whispers while smiling at you across the table. And revenge doesn't have to look angry to be effective. Sometimes it's just letting reality speak in full sentences. I don't hate Evelyn. I don't miss her either. I miss the man I was before I doubted my own instincts. But he's coming back, stronger, quieter, clear, and that, more than anything, feels like justice. I wake up now without checking someone else's mood, without bracing for distance, without explaining loyalty. I focus on work, health, and peace. Trust returns slowly, but dignity comes back fast when you stop negotiating with disrespect. Finally free.